little bit of like, you guys have everything anyways, so why do you need a pope? Kind of like if the homecoming queen gets elected prom queen too, don't you have enough already? However, apparently this guy's background, they go in and they vote and the white smoke comes up and if they haven't picked somebody. So it was a whole interesting process that I think a lot of non-Catholics and just a lot of people in general, and maybe with the advent of social media becoming so big, suddenly we were kind of drawn into it because it was very draft style and it was very interesting. But I find the argument that there were concerns about giving the US, a global superpower, even more power, very, very interesting. And I find it interesting because it's kind of like the opposite has happened. It sounds like maybe now that was not the top concern, but rather some hope. And again, this is all just speculation, right? We're just speculating. I was not at the conclave. I don't know what went on behind closed doors. But there seems to be now some idea that maybe the opposite could be true, that rather than the U.S. politics influencing the church, that the reality that this is an American pope who speaks English, right? Like when they're out there speaking Latin, most of us can kind of ignore it because like I don't know what you're saying. So you could be telling me you hate me or you tell me you love me. I have no idea what you're saying. But generally speaking, they were like over there. They were in Europe or they were in Central or South America, and they were speaking in Latin. And so generally speaking, I think American politics could somewhat ignore what was going on or what they were saying, the criticisms, right? But the idea now is that since this is a U.S. Pope from Chicago speaking English, that rather than U.S. politics influence the church, that there may be some church influence into U.S. politics.